Look up the word sensible in the dictionary and next to it will be a picture of the Honda CR-V. As big, dependable family SUVs go, it's got one of the best reputations going. But this CR-V is a bit different. For a start, it looks way bolder than it has before, and more importantly, it now features a 2-litre petrol-electric hybrid powertrain that Honda reckons is the most important engine that it's produced for more than 10 years. So, given all that, it is disappointing to note that it only manages about 40 mpg and 120 grams per kilometre, there or thereabouts, under WLTP regulations. And that, by the way, is significantly worse than the CR-V's nemesis, the Toyota RAV4, which manages more like 100 grams per kilometre and 50 mpg. So, can the CR-V make up for that in the real world in some other way, and how economical is it in normal driving? First thing to know about the CR-V is that you don't plug it in. The small battery pack is only ever charged up by the petrol engine or the car's regenerative braking system. Default hybrid mode uses the 2-litre petrol engine to keep the batteries charged up and flicks into pure electric when it can. But unless you accelerate hard, the petrol engine rarely directly powers the car. Instead, in most normal driving conditions, it acts as a generator to charge up the batteries, which in turn power the electric motor that is actually turning the wheels. Selecting EV mode will force the system into pure electric mode for as long as it can manage before the batteries are depleted, but you'll be lucky to manage more than a couple of miles. You can, of course, get the CR-V in all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive models, and they all come with this CVT automatic gearbox. And another thing is that the economy on this car is far better than I was expecting by the official figures. I mean, I'm seeing 46 mpg around town without really trying very hard. It spends quite a bit of time in electric running, actually, at slower speeds. It's doing around about 41 mpg, something like that, in varied motorway driving and that sort of stuff. So I do feel like the WLTP tests seem to have done this car a bit of a disservice, really. For all that the CR-V betters its disappointing official figures in the real world, there's no getting around the fact that a Toyota RAV4 is more efficient still, both officially and on the road, and ultimately the CR-V is still disappointing for economy given its advanced hybrid powertrain. It's very typical of this gearbox, actually, that if you accelerate hard, it makes the petrol engine rev really noisily and it gets all coarse and a bit nasty. But as long as you don't accelerate really hard, then it's quite a quiet, comfortable car. In fact, the ride comfort on the CR-V is one of the best things. It's got a really lovely sort of spongy way of going over speed bumps and potholes. Just makes life really easy. It's also a quiet car, like I said, so the refinement's very good around town when it spends a lot of time in electric running. There is a bit of a weird thing where when the petrol engine kicks in, because in hybrid mode, the petrol engine isn't directly related to what you're doing with the throttle, so you get this strange sensation occasionally where you'll accelerate, but the petrol engine will maintain a completely neutral rev limit. However, something that is really hard to forgive on the CR-V is its towing capacity, because this car, its max brake towing capacity is 750 kilos. Now, that's really bad. For some context, a RAV4 will do 1,650 kilos, or the big diesel 4x4 alternatives, you know, the Kodiaq, your Tiguan, all that stuff, they'll do 2 tonnes, even 2.5 tonnes. So just puts into context how bad, actually, the CR-V is. So definitely not for anybody who wants to tow. Other than that, to be honest, the CR-V is actually really quite pleasant to drive. It's unexceptional, maybe even a bit boring, you could say, but it does do the job. It's very fit for purpose. The CR-V's interior is just as practical as you'd hope it would be. So you get, for a start, this massive cubby right in the middle of the console, which you can really deep get a bottle in there or whatever, a couple of USB inputs, and even a little tray to put your phone, so you can store all your stuff away really neatly. Not only that, but Honda reckons that most buyers will actually go for top spec EX trim, and that gets everything. Even the head-up display, panoramic roof, leather seats with memory function and electric adjustment, even heated seats in the back as well as the front, so it's, you know, it's proper luxury. But you do pay a premium because that costs £37,000 in hybrid form. We would go for SR trim because it's some £4,000 cheaper, but you still really get everything you'd want, including keyless entry, auto lights and wipers, all of that stuff, so it's just a better value car. Avoid base S trim if you can, as the rest of the range gets this 7-inch touchscreen complete with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is great as those smartphone integration functions allow you to override Honda's fiddly standard nav and media functions. Safety standards are great in the Honda. It returned an excellent 5-star rating in Euro NCAP crash tests, and it gets autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist, traffic sign recognition and even adaptive cruise control as standard. SR and EX trims also get blind spot warning. There's no 7-seat option in the CR-V Hybrid as there is in the non-hybrid 1.5 litre petrol version, but you do get masses of space in the comfortable back seats for adults or for bulky child seats, and the boot is also appropriately huge. The load lip is low and the seats fold almost totally flat to leave a really long load bay that makes it easy to load bulky items or even a bike if you want to. Aside from the lack of a 7-seat option, practicality is a real strong point in the CR-V Hybrid. The Honda CR-V is a really good car right up until you have to think about paying for it. Those official figures mean that it's much more expensive for company car drivers than you'd probably expect it to be. Plus, you probably would expect it to do better economy than it manages. So, yes, it's a good family car, but we would definitely say that the Toyota RAV4 is a better bet. For more reviews, advice, news and features, head to drivingelectric.com. Don't forget to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel while you're here, and check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.